All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here for our Spirit Halloween, the movie review, which is my most anticipated review of the month because I knew we were going to have JB. And we are both aficionados of the Spirit Halloween store. Once it opens every year, we're very excited to go in there. So when I saw that there was going to be a Spirit Halloween movie, I was like, A, Party City must be pissed that they got beat to the punch. And B, what is this going to be?
And for
And
me, this
yeah,
was going to have to be my visit to Spirit Halloween Superstore because I noticed far too late that in my new town, there is no Spirit Halloween Superstore. If I wanted to go to the real place, I would have to venture to Ventura. There are no Spirit Halloween Superstores in Oxnard proper.
but I'm sorry, Johnny California.
Yeah.
Chicago Adam has fantasy costumes, which is like if Halloween Town had a garage sale.
And Billy Rob has questions about Spirit Halloween. Now, I thought for years that the sign was there was like a mystery, was like Spirit of Halloween. What does Spirit shouldn't it be like Halloween Spirit?
I think that's actually
Spirit
short
Halloween?
for Spirit Halloween Superstores, because I was surprised they didn't
Okay.
include Superstore in the title of the movie, because the movie is such a naked cash grab slash advertisement for
Yeah.
the pop-up store. It surprised me they were a little bit classy and just chose something that arguably could be the name of a movie in
And
some universe.
and the
Yeah.
fact that they chose, I guess we're jumping into the movie now, and the fact that they chose to have the store that they're using be a disused Toys R Us without changing the
Absolutely.
signage.
That
That was one of my favorite parts of the movie, and there weren't many. But when you saw the entrance and exit signs
Yes.
on the outside, you're like, "Damn,
They didn't
someone's paying
even.
yeah.
attention."
This isn't like a Hocus Pocus 2 Walgreens situation where we gotta dress the fucker up to make it look like it's really,
Oh,
No,
I
it feels
disagree
like
with that. I agree with you that it was on the outside clearly a converted Toys R Us.
right.
However, I suffered the same uncanny valley effect that I had with seeing Walgreens in a movie when I watched Hocus Pocus 2 with walking into a real Spirit Halloween
Yeah.
because I was just like, this isn't cinema ready. Like like I don't know what it is about the design of it. Maybe it's because they clearly had to take out all the licensed material from the
Yes.
store. So they were just left with their kind of branded Spirit Halloween Nightcrawler, like guy who jumps, Mr. Scares or whatever, who jumps up at you.
Incredibly empty. I thought maybe they had to like get stuff out of there for the film equipment, like to lay the dolly track and stuff. Like
Yeah.
they needed to get rid of some of the signage.
I think my favorite part of the movie is when early in the first act, they've already established that one of the kids is slow to mature. He's kind of tried and true in his Halloween traditions that are more kiddie, and his friends are more like, we're almost in high school. Let's act a little bit more grown up. So I immediately sided on the we need to grow up side with the kids when they did the Goodfellas Copacabana tracking shot in the movie theater to watch a puppet show.
Yeah, that happens
I
in
was
this
very
movie.
flummoxed by the puppet show.
I know the point in the movie where my lovely wife and I found it very hard to suspend our disbelief. I don't think this is a spoiler,
Yeah.
in that the film suggests that in the back room of every Toys R Us, there's a complete set of blueprints for the building.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, in what state is this the building code or the village code? No. This is something that never gets discussed. In the back room of every Toys R Us, there's a complete set of blueprints and schematics for the building. How could you not have that?
Well, no, there was a demolition squad that was there to take it down when it was a Toys R Us, but then Spirit Halloween bought it and they just left it there.
I get that maybe they went at off times, but it's weird how empty the Spirit Halloween is because in October, there's always people around the Spirit Halloween. There's always families walking around and stuff like that. But you would think that they stumbled upon it like it's the secret garden or
Yeah.
something.
here's the tragedy of Spirit Halloween.
Okay.
I was on board, and I
Mhm.
actually think it does a decent job in its first 15 minutes of setting things up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a flashback to a very evil man who's foreclosing on some property, and we learn that you probably should never foreclose on a witch. And we flash forward to some family hijinks where the kid doesn't want to grow up, and he
Right.
proposes to his friends that they're going to spend the night in a Halloween superstore. So it's the modern equivalent of we're going to spend the night in a haunted house. Usually in these turn of the century narratives, it's for the reading of a will or to inherit the money. You have to spend one night in the house.
Mhm.
It's the same trope.
You've got the family conflict at home. You've got the crush on the friend's older sister. The slightly older sister is such a wonderful trope for these kinds
You
of
have a
movies.
friend who's lactose intolerant, whose grandmother is a witch,
Right.
and somehow gets written out of the film halfway through.
Somehow.
And then there's the interpersonal conflict between the three friends, which I thought until they had the moment in like the late second act where the one kid goes, he's growing up too slow, but you're growing up too fast, and you don't have to force it and stuff like that. I'm just like, explain the themes.
But would the two of you agree, once we get to the Halloween Superstore, they have no idea what to do?
Yeah,
It's an hour of nonsense, the second act.
it's it's weird that it takes them so long to get Christopher Lloyd's spirit
Yeah.
manifesting throughout the story. It takes like about 30 minutes of an 80-minute movie.
And as my wife pointed out, it's strange that he manages to manifest his spirit into a number of very large costumes that the same crew member could fit into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Just
get the
leave it
bad
at that.
80-yard dialogue from Christopher Lloyd, who was clearly not on set for much of this at all, any of it.
And he shows up, his spirit visually is represented by being the like floating jellyfish from Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept comparing it to the fuzzy things that you blow off a dandelion,
Yeah,
that it's
Yeah.
a big green glow in the dark. It's anathema to anyone with allergies,
Yeah.
but I don't have allergies, so I didn't find it particularly scary. What was scary was the enormous, elaborate cave set, which suggested, now am I to believe that under every Toys R Us,
Yeah.
there's an enormous, creepy, scary, unexplored cave?
The movie is clearly made by people who have seen a movie before. They've seen
Yeah.
these kinds of movies, and they're like, all right, so we got like the kids, and we set the bikes in the beginning, got your little Amblin kind of ET thing where they're riding their bikes through town, and you set up the town, you set up all that stuff, and then, as you said, they get into the store. And what I really love this that sort of exemplifies it is when they do the fun montage, the montage of them having fun when they first
Yeah.
get, it's kind of just like, I don't know, what are we doing? We're playing with some foam swords,
yeah.
and we're watching a movie all huddled together on the iPad, and then
At which point I thought, did they have to be in a Spirit Halloween Superstore to watch a movie
it seems
on
like
an
they're having,
iPad
yeah,
in a sleeping bag? Is that exclusive to
it seems like they're having just sort of a very general kind of night
It's a
Halloween
sleepover.
Yeah, they're just kind of having a sleepover.
It also struck me as a pretty big leap for we should do something more grown up. Let's trespass and break the law. I think the scariest part of this movie for me was that I felt like Kirk Cameron was going to show up at any moment.
Can we talk about Christopher Lloyd's involvement in this film, Rachel Lee Cook's involvement in this film, which I took as a personal insult because of my love for Rachel Lee Cook.
Yeah, I texted Patrick during my second viewing of this movie with a picture of Rachel Lee Cook from my TV in Spirit Halloween, and I said, we failed her, didn't we?
Yeah.
I felt about Spirit Halloween Superstore very similar to the way I felt about Hubie Halloween.
Mm.
That if they had just spent more time on the script,
right,
you might have wound up with something that families would watch year after year as a tradition. If there was anything to it, if that middle part in the Halloween Superstore had anything interesting or scary or funny or anything, you'd have something the kids would watch. I
Yeah.
give them big credit for trying
Yeah.
and less credit for failing.
This so could have easily been just a commercial for the store, and
Yeah.
I don't think that it is entirely. Obviously, like, there's some co-branding going on clearly, but like
It
if
doesn't glorify Spirit Halloween.
It's
yeah,
not a naked cash
It
grab.
doesn't glorify
It's
it.
a
It doesn't.
semi-clothed cash grab.
if I talk about like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from 1990, it's like, well, that's clearly the best version of this movie that they could have made. And I
Yeah.
think with Spirit Halloween, it also maybe is true that they probably made the best version of this movie that they could have, but it also is such a weird inspiration for a movie that you're setting the bar pretty low just by that being what the movie's about.
I mean, there's absolutely nothing cynical about this movie, I don't think.
No, yeah.
Which is something I really gave it a lot
They,
of credit for. It
they
is
clearly were
very
like,
sincere. It has the
Yeah.
tone of an ABC after school special.
exactly.
Mhm.
You can see that that's what they were going for.
If it had been arch and meta and
Yeah.
Oh
cynical,
god.
Exactly.
then it would,
would've been
That's-
it would have been really, really insufferable.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
a great point.
I can save your viewers an hour of their lives.
Mm.
Instead of watching Spirit Halloween, which you don't need to do, find your way to HBO Max to that Looney Tunes Spooktacular
Did you
I
heard
wrote
about
about.
Mhm.
I don't think enough people have watched that this October. It is 28 minutes long. It is 4 new Looney Tunes, all with a Halloween theme. It is delightful and
Nice.
would appeal to any child, no matter how short their attention span. And I just want to imagine lots of parents watching it with little kids. I think that would be a fun night. Pop some corn.
There you go.
John, since you're our guest today, I want to take the opportunity to ask you 2 spooky questions. What have you bought at Spirit Halloween this year?
Nothing. I'm sure I bought some stuff online.
Mhm.
I bought the American Werewolf in London figure from Toonie Terrors that matches the stylization of the original Scooby-Doo. And every 6 months, they release more figures so you can sort of have a diorama. Last year, they released Captain Quint from Jaws and the Shark, but it's designed to look like a Scooby-Doo episode. That
That's cool.
stylization.
I'd buy that.
That's fun.
Yeah.
What's your second question? I have
My
too much
second-
Halloween stuff. I feel like spinning the laptop around so you can see it. I have too much Halloween stuff.
I bought one thing at Spirit. I bought a trick or treat room projector that spins.
Ooh.
It's pretty nice.
I have one of those in my bathroom that projects Haunted Mansion stuff.
Excellent. And my second question for you is what is your favorite new to you discovery that you've watched this month?
Well, besides the Looney Tunes Spectacular, I'm going to have to say, at the risk of the Twitter machine exploding,
I'll turn it off.
It's got to be Halloween Ends,
Okay.
which I thought was amazing in a number of different ways. That's all I'm going to say.
So thank you very much for, how's this sound? I can't tell. Thanks everybody for joining us for this this episode of Reserve Seating, Scary Movie Month edition. We will be back for one more, and we are going to recap October and talk about some of our favorite watches. I know you guys are waiting with bated breath to hear what we thought of Once Bitten and Pulse and The Wicker Man and all these other movies that we set up at the beginning of the month that we would watch. So until next time.
These seats.
Thank you for having me on, gentlemen. I enjoyed this.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome back anytime. We love having you on.
Of course. These seats. And
Are
your seats
spooky
are spooky.
and reserved.
Come on, John. Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my most anticipated episode of Scary Movie Month, because when I saw that, oh my God, grinning ghost, Ben
Now to
Affleck. That
socialize.
does look like Ghost Affleck a little bit because of the white outline. I like it. Ooh.
We're
So,
summoning the spirit of J-Lo.
all right. I'm gonna take it from the top again. So